What's going on, everybody? And I hope you're enjoying your Thursday afternoon so far. This is NYG Jeffy T 85 here, and the New York Giants keep on adding more wide receivers. The Giants have brought in another wide receiver to help out their offense going into the 2023 NFL season, as the Giants officially today, according to Josina Anderson, have signed former Washington Commanders, Buffalo Bills, and New York Jets wide receiver Jamison Crowder to a one-year deal. Jamison Crowder now is part of the mix in terms of wide receivers for the New York Giants going forward. Now, in terms of Jamison Crowder and his career so far, Crowder is 29 years old. He is a former fourth-round pick back in 2015 at pick number 105 out of Duke, and he was picked by the Washington Commanders all the way back in 2015. He has, in his career so far, 415 receptions for 4,667 yards, 28 touchdowns. He has 815 return yards overall and a return touchdown. That might be the reason why the New York Giants are signing Crowder, because he's a returner. And Crowder, he's a smaller receiver. He stands at about 5'9", 5'10", only 177 pounds. So, Crowder, unfortunately, though, suffered an ankle injury back in week 4 of this past season with the Buffalo Bills, and he was lost for the season after he was placed on injured reserve back on October 8th, 2022. So, Crowder really had an incomplete season last year. He's another guy coming off injury, so I can understand why the New York Giants in this way are taking a chance with somebody like with Jamison Crowder. Crowder's pretty much another project wide receiver. Another guy that you're going to place in there, see how he does in training camp, see how he rehabs from his injury, and potentially see if he's going to be a guy that's going to mix in with the New York Giants wide receiver core. Giants are really not kidding. Giants were not kidding about loading up at this wide receiver position and the offensive playmakers going this season. Now you look. Now you already had Wan'Dale Robinson. You re-signed Darius Slayton. You re-signed Sterling Shepard. You re-signed Isaiah Hodgins. You signed Jeff Smith and Parris Campbell. And now you signed Jamison Crowder. And we're not even at the NFL draft yet. Joe Schoen and this Giants team is not kidding when they were talking about adding playmakers on this offense at the wide receiver position or the tight end position. He is bringing in as many guys as possible, and it is all about competition. Crowder's had a couple of seasons where he's missed some games due to injury. Last year being the primary one, where he got injured with the Buffalo Bills. But for the most part, Crowder's actually had a pretty nice career over these past 7 years, over these past 8 years. His best season was probably all the way back in 2016, his second year with the Washington Commanders, where he played in 16 games with 9 starts. He recorded 67 receptions for 847 yards and 7 touchdowns with a 12.6 yards per catch average, 55 being his longest, and he also rushed 2 times for -2 yards, and he had 2 fumbles and 1 loss. It's another wide receiver to add into the mix. Shepard and Robinson are both coming off injuries. Crowder's coming off injuries. You put him in training camp, see how he does, add him to the mix. Competition and depth. That's the name of the game. Joe Schoen is going to throw out all these wide receivers out on the football field. Collin Johnson is another one that's going to be added to the mix. He's going to throw out all these wide receivers out there in the mix. Crowder, Campbell, Shepard, Slayton, Hodgins, Johnson, Robinson, Smith. All these guys are going to be thrown out in this wide receiver mix. See how they're going to perform and see who's going to end up winning out and winning a roster spot with this team. Also might depend on health and everything. I don't mind this move. Crowder has had some excellent seasons. He has tailed off over the past couple of years. He is almost 30 years old. So, I mean, he is coming off a major injury. So, I understand why Joe Schoen is taking a chance on Jamison Crowder. He doesn't turn 30 until June 17th. So he's another veteran wide receiver you bring in, slot wide receiver primarily, smaller guy, similar build to Wan'Dale Robinson. So Shane is pretty much just throwing out all these darts on the dartboard, and he's pretty much saying, whoever sticks, that's going to be part of the wide receiver core. So it's not inconceivable that some of these guys that were signed or re-signed this offseason might not be here after the season, and they could only just be here as depth at the moment and could be gone with the snap of a finger. We'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. But either way, another guy added to the mix for the New York Giants at the wide receiver position going into 2023. Jamison Crowder is now a part of the New York Football Giants, and another wide receiver added to the mix. Details have not come out on what kind of deal he is signing with the Giants. They have not released the details if he's signing for a minimum deal. But either way, it's another wide receiver, and I don't mind Joe Shane adding more to this offense and seeing which one of these guys during training camp and preseason could step up their play and become a guy that could really add into the mix in this wide receiver core and become a threat in this offense going into the 2023 season. I don't mind this at all. I think it's a solid play. I think it's a solid fit. We'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen, but Giants have made a lot of moves at the wide receiver position. This is your third wide receiver they've signed in free agency, along with Jeff Smith and along with Parris Campbell. Reclamation projects. That's what it is. Reclamation projects. Guys that have been injured, guys getting a chance. Joe Shane throwing all his darts on the dartboard, throwing them out there and seeing what they can do going into this NFL season. Don't mind it at all. Let's see how somebody like Jamison Crowder performs for the New York Giants in 2023. So if you guys like this video, hit the like button below and give a sub to NYGJeffyT85. More news, updates, and chatter surrounding the New York Giants. Turn on the bell for notifications. The next video or short dropping on the channel surrounding the New York Giants. And you guys let me know in the comments section what you think about the Giants signing wide receiver Jamison Crowder to a one-year deal. And what kind of impact Jamison Crowder could potentially make for the New York Giants going into the 2023 NFL season, and if he's going to be part of the wide receiver core going into 2023. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Take it easy, and let's go New York Football Giants. Together blue, everyone.